Good Lord, what is happening, my friend? As you know, the FBI raids Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. What is the latest? And what do I think is actually happening? Let's get into it along the way, because you know what we do here on the JP Reacts channel. We go through news, and I call out the lies and corruption of tyrants, highlight woke absurdities, as well as highlighting the amazing work of other freedom fighters. There are some tyrannical things happening. You know the FBI raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, looking for whatever they're looking for. Most recently, what the FBI has said is they were looking for nuclear codes, classified information he took with regard to nuclear weapons. Does that sound like BS to you? Maybe. But as we get into this, we see some of the facts before we get to the updated information. Here we can see the Daily Wire reports that Biden's Attorney General Merrick Garland, what a dumb name, admits he personally approved the Trump search warrant. Okay, now what's interesting, what I find fascinating about this whole thing, which on the surface and below the surface, it looks like the Biden administration, more specifically like whoever runs them, they've weaponized the FBI, using them as a tyrannical wing of enforcement, in this case, to take down their prime political opponent, who by all rights is very much leading in the polls. I know it's yet to be announced if President Trump is running for president in 2024, but I think there's no question in this, the January 6th trial, and now this really suggests the left is very threatened by Trump. So there they go, weaponizing the FBI, which, by the way, you could say, well, they wouldn't do that. It's already been proven that they do that, where the Biden administration had the FBI raid Project Veritas's office trying to recover his daughter Ashley Biden's diary that has some pretty horrendous incriminating accusations written by her against her father, suggesting he might have sexualized me as a child, he would shower with me at inappropriate ages. Another piece of noteworthy information that we need to know. The judge that approved the FBI warrant to raid Trump's home was a judge who repped Epstein. Somehow on Epstein's behalf, this judge was a lawyer involved with Epstein. Were the Clintons involved with Epstein? Well, there's only evidence of Bill on Epstein's jet. The whole thing, it just looks like, guys, this is too obvious. If you're gonna use the FBI in your desperate attempt to take down Trump, we know you've tried, the January 6th committee witch hunts, the impeachments, the Russia hoax, but if you're gonna do it, don't be so obvious. Like the judge that signs the warrant is involved with Epstein, and we know Epstein's involved with the Clintons. And we know the Clintons, Hillary, her very incriminating alleged email server, like the FBI has never raided her place. She's never been truly investigated. It's just, in my opinion, too obvious. Tyrants, if you're watching this, if you're gonna do devious, corrupt things, do a better job of hiding it so that it at least looks a little bit hidden. Like hiding things in plain sight. God, come on, guys. We're 2.5 years into your New World Order thing. Like, you can't hide things in plain sight anymore. Gaslighting doesn't hide things anymore. It used to. People are like sleeping with their eyes open. Oh, you said this, but you're doing that. Well, we should probably believe what you said, not what you did. Now, apparently, based on my law degree, but from what I understand, all the FBI needs in order to basically raid anybody anywhere, let alone the 45th president of the United States, you don't need any evidence. You just need a judge to sign off on the warrant. They've gotten a judge who, I mean, if you're as an attorney, if you're involved with Epstein, I'm gonna make an educated guess you're not a straight arrow. You're susceptible to corruption. So, to the FBI's credit, they got a judge who's not a straight arrow, got him to sign off on the warrant. Okay. And we also know the Biden administration says, well, we didn't We didn't know they were going to do that. Biden administration, of course, speaking on Biden's behalf because he can't even speak on his own behalf, they've said President Biden had no knowledge that this raid was going to happen. I believe him on that. I mean, they could have told him 6 times. Still doesn't mean he'd have the retention to have the knowledge the raid's going to happen. One of the other pieces I find interesting on this, of this being too much too fast, which just makes it such an obvious political hit job using the FBI as a weaponized wing of the tyrannical government. There's so many people on the left now looking at this and saying like, all right, like the FBI, you guys have to show your cause. Like what, why? Why are you looking at, why did you do this? It's like, well, we thought he might have nuclear codes. So it's just very interesting that this may have been a line that's crossed, that even a lot of people on the left, they're looking at it saying like, yeah, that you can't just do that. Even people who really don't like Trump, they're saying like, no, you can't just do that. You have to have a legit reason, because this is third world tyrannical communistic takeover stuff. Ugh. Let's see what President Trump has said and what he's saying most recently. Looking here on Truth Social, really the only place that Trump can do social media. It's his own social media platform. Trump says the FBI and others from the federal government would not let anyone, including my lawyers, be anywhere near the areas that were rummaged and otherwise looked at during the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Everyone was asked to leave the premises. They wanted to be left alone without any witnesses to see what they were doing, taking, or hopefully not, planting. Why did they strongly insist on having nobody watching them, everybody out? Obama and Clinton were never raided despite big disputes. Great point on Obama and Clinton. Apparently, Obama took 30 million pages of documents that he wasn't supposed to take once he left office. But to me, the scariest thing about this piece is apparently it's incredibly unusual. I don't know if it's illegal, so I won't say that, though maybe it is illegal. I don't know. But apparently it's incredibly unusual for attorneys to not be allowed to be present to observe the FBI raid. So the fact that Trump's attorneys weren't present, we already have pretty strong suspicion that FBI is there not for legitimate, uphold the Constitution reasons, but they're there on a political witch hunt. So the scariest thing for me is, what did they plant? Whether it's planting bugs, wire, and I'm sure Trump has people scouring the place once the FBI is gone, but as they took documents from Trump's safe, what do they plant in those documents? Hopefully nothing, but it could be something. To me, that's the scariest part. The big question that the media is asking, will there be cause for criminal charges based on what the FBI took? Obviously, they want to charge him with criminal charges. This whole thing is to keep, in my opinion, to keep him from being able to run for office again in 2024. Now, with corrupt people, they tend to find what they're looking for, whether what they're looking for is there or not. So will they plant something that then gives them the narrative cause to bring charges against President Trump? That to me is the most unsettling piece of all this. What else has President Trump said? Again, on Truth Social, he says, number one, with regard to everything they took, it was all declassified, because the big thing is you have classified stuff, that's a crime, we're gonna take it. So President Trump is saying, no, it was all declassified. Number two, they didn't need to seize anything. They could have had it anytime they wanted without playing politics and breaking into Mar-a-Lago. It was in a secured storage with an additional lock put on as per their request. Have you realized the tyrants like to do theater? So we're doing the raid on President Trump. I think in their demented minds, there was like, yeah, if he actually had documents that he wasn't supposed to or they wanted back, as President Trump is saying, they could have asked for him. But that doesn't create the theater of, oh, he was raided. And automatically, even if he's raided for unjust reasons, automatically a mindless person says, oh, the FBI raided you. Like, you must be a criminal. you don't automatically think more highly of a person rated by the FBI. So there's this framing done in the eyes of the narrative. But as a lot of people are suggesting, including myself, many people are thinking the FBI and Biden administration behind it is now strengthening Trump in the polls because, you try to make him look bad, but what happens when you actually make him look better? As you make yourself look like an ass. I have my strongest suspicion of what the effect was that they're after, but I think they did just the opposite. To me, it's kind of like the more Fauci talks, he doesn't breed more obedience, certainly not at this point. The more Fauci talks, the more people believe the opposite of what he says. I think that's what's happening in the kind of the collective consciousness at large here. What else? As of today, Trump's Truth Socialed this out. Wow, in the raid by the FBI of Mar-a-Lago, they stole my 3 passports, one's expired, along with everything else. This is an assault on a political opponent at a level never seen before in our country. Third world. What else does he say? Oh great, it's just been learned that the FBI in its now famous raid of Mar-a-Lago took boxes of privileged attorney-client material and also executive privileged material, which they knowingly should not have taken. By copy of this truth, I respectfully request that these documents be immediately returned to the location from which they were taken. Thank you. Cool, so that's what President Trump has said. They shouldn't have been taken. There are documents of attorney-client privilege and also executive privilege. I'm not an attorney. I can't validate what he's saying is true, but he put it on Truth Social, so sounds like it would be true. So there's that. And then I think something else just worth looking at here. This is President Trump, I guess it's called Truthed It Out on Truth Social, but this is from Upward News. I follow them on Instagram. I follow them now on Truth Social. They're great, but they have this quick summary of the FBI's tactics. And this is a summary just from what they've done since 2015. The FBI has propagated the Russia collusion hoax to hurt the Trump administration. The FBI has manufactured the Whitmer kidnapping case and blamed it on Trump before the election. That's how the FBI set up the Michigan governor kidnapping case. FBI, y'all are awesome. The FBI has helped Biden's presidential campaign by burying Hunter's illegal activities. The FBI has misclassified domestic extremism cases to support the Biden narrative. The FBI has targeted conservative parents who protest the pandemic policies at schools. I mean, that alone. The FBI has targeted parents protesting at school boards who are doing tyrannical stuff to their children. Whose side is the FBI on? The people or the tyrants? It's a rhetorical question. The FBI has placed at least 2 informants at the Capitol on January 6th who participated in the riot. As of today, I read a report that says it's now been discovered the FBI placed at least 20 people in the crowd in plain clothes at the January 6th celebration. That's just what I read. I can't confirm or deny that it was 20 rather than this is saying 2. And then lastly, FBI raided Trump's home to find anything that could prevent him from running in 2024. So we know the FBI has not raided Hunter Biden's house. They haven't gone after his laptop. The FBI, oddly enough, hasn't gone after Epstein's client list. The FBI has not investigated Hillary Clinton. The FBI has not gone after Obama in his 30 million pages of documents. It's almost starting to look like it's a one-sided game with the FBI. And then there's a conservative congressman, he might be a senator, but I think he's a congressman, who I think it was the day after they raided Trump, the FBI tracked him down and took his phone. Conservative congressman. Interesting. Here's what I think this is all really about. To me, there's 2 steps to what this is about. Step number 1 is their end goal, but let's start with step number 2. As I've stated, I believe step number 2, what this is about is preventing President Trump from running in 2024. Will we have a fair or a wonky election? It's definitely a fair question. Even if we have a wonky election, it's way harder, I imagine, to make it a wonky election going the way they want it to if you have masses and the majority of people voting for the person you don't want them to. We know Biden's poll numbers are record-settingly low. And you look at, Biden's not going to run in 2024, but who is? There's no one on the left who is remotely close to both the popularity and the trust that President Trump has with well over half the country. Step number 2, they're looking to prevent President Trump from running for office again in 2024. But what's the end goal? For me, the end goal is you and me, we the people. Take a look at this image. I saw it going around on social media. It is just chilling. In reality, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. I do believe that to be true. Why have they viciously tried to shut down Trump in the media and with the DOJ, FBI, ever since he started running for president back in, I guess he was campaigning in 2015. He's not a controllable person. Love him, hate him. An indisputable fact is he's not controllable, probably to anyone, but certainly the establishment, deep state, they can't control this guy. They want people who they can control. Someone like Biden, someone like Hillary. Someone like Gavin Newsom, wouldn't he be? He's so handsome. He'd be, well, he likes to take money and do what we tell him. He'd be great. They can't control Trump. Why would they want to? I believe because they want to control you. I believe tyranny is evil. Evil is all about control. Freedom is not about control. Freedom is about expansion. That's why it's God's way. Freedom expands. Evil contracts, controls. So ultimately, the evil mind is all about controlling other people. That's violating people. We look at that last couple of years, they've done their best to inch communism, which is a mechanism to control people, into our country. They want to control us. So they need someone who they can't control out of the way. And for the love of God, I hope that we, the people, do not let them, period. So that's the latest in the development of the FBI raid. Let me know what you think about all this that's going on in the comments. What's your opinion on what's really going on? I'd love to see what you're thinking. This is a developing story. Perhaps we'll be back with update videos, but this is the latest update on it. And before you go, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, Sheath Underwear. Are you a man with balls? I think there's two types of people in this world. Men with balls and men without balls. Men with balls act accordingly by loving America, they're protectors and providers, and they only wear underwear that's made for men with balls. Sheath. Anything else is women's underwear. The founders of Sheath are obsessed with men's junk for some reason, but that's what's led them to uniquely craft Sheath to support men and their balls while looking and feeling good. Research done by the National Institute of Health and Underwear Safety shows that if you wear tighty whities, you're not only not a man, you might as well have a brown streak running down your underpants, because you probably already do. The research also shows that wearing just any degenerate looking boxer briefs contributes to the destruction of masculinity, promotes communism, lessens your chances of survival when attacked by a bear, and definitely converts women into lesbians because of your poor self-respect and emasculated appearance. But there's hope. Because if you're a man with balls, you can now treat yourself accordingly by only wearing the best underwear on the planet. Sheath. Sheath are underwear made for real men with actual balls. How do we know this? Because Sheath is obsessed with men's balls to a suspicious degree, it's led to an innovatively designed pouch system with separate compartments for both your hot dog and meatballs that gives you maximum comfort and support while you're doing man stuff. More than that, Sheath is made from a fabric blend of modal and spandex that provides form-fitting comfort like no other. Here's my butt, and as you can see, the unique blend is cool to the touch and provides absorption. And that means no other underwear provides built-in protection against sweat and self-urination, quite like Sheath. Sheath also has a bamboo fabric option if you're into taking food away from panda bears and wearing it around your groin. With Sheath, your underwear no longer has to be a character flaw, it can be an asset. It might even be what people like best about you. I've been wearing sheath for over 2 years now. During this time, my wife has gone from thinking I should move to Portland to open an artisan arts and crafts store to now respecting me for the man that I am. Not to mention my comfort and confidence are now dangerously high. If you're a man with balls, then treat yourself to the best underwear on the planet by going to sheathunderwear.com/awaken. I think you'll like them. Manspin! And use a discount code AWAKEN for 20% off. Because real men don't wear just any underwear. They also don't pay full price. At least not when there's a discount code available. Enjoy.